Hi Aquarius, welcome to your August 2017 love reading. It's Rena here. Very overcast morning, so I had to turn on the lights. Usually it's bright enough from the outside, and hopefully no more distractions from the outside world. Okay, so I've been shuffling this. Okay, here we go. Well, the first thing I noticed as I was laying out the first couple of cards was that they were both swords, your swords. So is Gemini and Libra. Air is swords. Swords are thoughts. Now, let me talk about the past position. We have someone who is stepping back, maybe taking a breather, maybe going on vacation. It's the summer in the Northern Hemisphere, and you may just be trying to get away from things. Maybe you're trying to get away from social media and all the drama, the online drama. In addition, because that's communications, anything that is exchanging ideas, and that's what you're about, but sometimes it gets to be too much. A lot of Aquarians and other air signs are very social people, and you're also big thinkers, but these things can be taken to extreme and they can work against you. So you may feel like you need to kind of just stop thinking. Maybe you go on a spiritual retreat or something like that, where how do you say that? Vipassana, whatever it's called. You know what it's called. Vishpassana, where you go for 10 days and they teach you a certain technique. And I mean, I'm very intrigued by that myself. I don't know how long I would last with my attention span. But I mean, I think I could do, I like the idea of a silent retreat, because it's makes things a lot easier. I'm not somebody who has social anxiety, except when we're talking about small talk. And so it'd be much better to just be around people and have that kind of communion in a silent way. And maybe that's how you feel too. But the Four of Swords is about getting away from it all and really resting, recharging your batteries. Now, the central focus here, which may be another person, but I think it's you, is the Page of Swords. Because this is a card of kind of being suspicious of someone. And you may have felt like this person is wearing you out. You don't trust what they're saying. You don't trust where they're going or doing. And that's a horrible place to be in. That can really lead to feeling drained. When you don't trust someone, you're always on edge. I would say that this is not in your head, because sometimes this card can be paranoia. And especially if it's in the reversed position, where the person is just suspecting things because they're either doing the dirt and they're projecting onto that person their own you know, dirty deeds, or they are just insecure, pathologically insecure, and they are creating a negative reality for themselves where they don't really believe that anybody would want to be with them. So it's like the person has to be cheating. You know, what other choice would they have? So that's something, you know, that you have to decide, you know, where you fall on that spectrum. The bottom line is that what is happening right now is represented by the High Priestess card, which is about feeling that there's something going on beneath the surface. For some people, this is about tuning into your higher self. For some reason, you may be neglecting your spiritual side of life and perhaps putting too much emphasis on a relationship to fulfill everything. But it could be, you know, oh yeah. Here's the thing. There is a lunar eclipse in your sign on August 7th. So perhaps that will be the big reveal of whatever you're feeling is going on. Remember that Leo is engaged during the month of August. Not only the sun in that sign, we have Mars. There's different planets. I think Venus is going there around the 28th or so. I don't have my ephemeris in front of me. But it's so interesting because the higher message is the Strength card, and this is connected to Leo. And the reason I brought up Leo is it's your opposite sign, and therefore your opposite house. So it would be the 7th house of committed partnership. And so those issues of the self versus the other, and I'm talking about as a couple, come to light or the forefront at the time of that full moon, Aquarius, because you have the full moon in your sign in the 1st house and the sun in the 7th house. There's an opposition at every full moon. And so you have the sun and the moon in opposition. And the sun is in that 7th house. So it's like, what am I contributing to this? If you are having problems, look at yourself. Too many times it's easy to be that Page of Wands and like, okay, what are they doing? What am I doing? Even if you decide to leave a relationship, it can be in certain instances that the person who is unhappy in the relationship is also the one who sticks around and accepts less than acceptable behavior. So whatever is going on, if there are situations where you really believe that the other person is being not true to you, and you still overlook it, what does that say about you? The Strength card as the spiritual message is about not getting swept away in any kind of drama and not believing that whatever is happening in this moment, if it's really feeling bad to you, that it is going to be like this forever. This too shall pass isn't just a cliche. It's actually the truth. You know, in every situation, it's going to eventually end. And you do yourself a disservice if you consistently focus on the other person and what they're doing. This is why these cards that are flanking the Page of Swords are both cards that concern contemplation. They concern you withdrawing and tapping into something greater than yourself. So, and that might be your strength, is that spiritual reliance. What crosses you is represented by the Emperor card, and this can be the actual person that you're dealing with. This card connects with Aries. I always connected it with Capricorn, though, so go figure. But anyway, this person can be quite rigid in their belief system. They can be, this is how it is, my way or the highway. They can have a lot of rules. They can be very disciplined, but not very flexible. This could be an aspect of you, for sure. Definitely. Some Aquarians, because you are a fixed sign, you may have a very set, you may be very set in your ways, in how to do things, and what you think is the correct way of life. Some of you are even know-it-alls. Even though I'm not an Aquarius, I can relate to that. So don't think that I am on my high horse. But the thing also about this card is it can connect to the military and to the police. So if this person that you are dealing with is in one of those professions, this may be also giving you a hint that this is this person. Now, if you think about it, those people that are into law and order, they tend to be very black and white in their mindset. And Aquarius, as a sign itself, even though you're a fixed sign, and I just said this kind of stuff about you, in general, you are known as liberal or progressive. I'm not talking about a political party. You can be a libertarian and be extremely liberal because you want your freedom. But what I'm talking about is somebody who is very interested in people that aren't like them. Aquarians love eccentric people. They tend to be eccentric as well. And they also tend to love people from diverse backgrounds. And this isn't because they are social justice warriors. It's because, well, they actually kind of are, and they're naturally that way. But it's because they are known as the humanitarians of the zodiac, and also just egalitarians. And I think that's even more important, because it doesn't really matter your race. I mean, you could be a person of color and you are born into wealth, great wealth, and you're not experiencing the same kind of issues that the people who are lower on the economic level are dealing with, regardless of color. You know, that's one of those things when they talk about privilege, that in fact there are people that feel incredibly disempowered because of their socioeconomic level. And I said feel because I still believe that we have control over the way that we view ourselves. But you are the kind of person who literally can, you're comfortable with people who are very wealthy, people who maybe, sweep streets. You have no sense of discrimination in that sense. And that can actually irritate people, especially if they are the so-called elite, because they want to be given special treatment. And you're the kind of person that's more likely to treat them like you would anybody else. You don't have a pecking order, in other words. And so you may clash with somebody who does have a pecking order, and you may feel like that person isn't tolerant, isn't open-minded. And again, it comes back to you. What drew you to this person in the first place? Maybe you're 100% correct, but you're there in that relationship. What comes in, and sometimes this is advice, this is the Six of Pentacles. This is a card of getting what you deserve. I would say in this context that I would look at cause and effect. What do you put into something and what do you get from it? And I'm not talking about materially. And it can be, I guess, but not exclusively. Because the Pentacles connect with money. But if we broaden that, because this is a love reading, it's not a career reading, we could say that what are the tangible things that you receive from a particular partner? If it's a troubled relationship and you can't answer that question, again, I ask you, what are you doing there? Why do you waste your time on something that you obviously think is not giving you what you need? And do you give that person what they need? Maybe you don't satisfy them as well, and it's a mismatch, and that's okay. Sometimes things seem like they're a good idea, and then they are not so much, and that has to be okay. We don't have to stick with something forever to prove that we weren't wrong. It's like you're throwing your life away. So, very interesting to get pentacles in love readings. I always look to the tangibility factor because Aquarius tends to be very much in their heads and everything tends to be very theoretical. And that doesn't flip the flapjacks. You have to have a relationship that you have that proof that it is working. And in your mind, you might fantasize about how things are going to get better, but what is the tangible proof of it? And the outcome is the Two of Pentacles. Now, this could be some kind of choice. I believe I got this for another sign in the exact same position. This indicates choice. Now, this is where I would bring in career matters because it could have something to do. You see the ship in the background. Sometimes this can indicate a job offer that's far away, like overseas. But it can be also connected to just basic living where there's a lot going on, where the person is juggling their, like 2 jobs and maybe their job and school, or they have a labor of love, something maybe they're not getting paid for yet, but they're trying to get ready for launch at some point. That for some people could just be simply saying you have a lot of irons in the fire, and it's just this can I would say in those cases this can actually help you to distract you from, if it's a marriage, if it's something that committed, from a problematic marriage, because the Page of Swords might tell you that you want to be, that maybe you're even obsessing over this situation. And if you have something tangible to throw yourself into, it can be very helpful, because you might know that eventually this is going to come to a head. I would say it's possible even at the time of that full moon that things could come to a head. And that's at the beginning of August 7th. But if this is particularly important if you're watching in July, because it may prepare you for the inevitable. So maybe, since I am doing this reading and it happens to be July 12th, maybe for some of you this is actually a reading to get you going right now, that you're going to have to face this, but in the meantime, you might throw yourself into your work. It's always possible that you have 2 people, maybe your partner, and maybe this card is about meeting an earth sign, or a person with an earthy temperament. So we're talking with the earth, we're talking about Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And didn't I say something about Capricorn? I said that I thought that the Emperor was Capricorn. But it's supposed to be Aries. So anyway, there might be 2 people you're choosing from. If you've just met somebody, obviously you might not know them very well, but you do know whether or not your marriage or your committed partnership is working out. Don't be one of those people that decides between two people because they don't want to be alone. So they always have to have someone. If your relationship is not working out, don't wait until you have somebody waiting in the wings to make your decision. That to me is really a sign of insecurity. And actually the person that is your current interest may not even be someone you're compatible with ultimately, or somebody that you're really that into. You may just be trying to have somebody there, you know, because you don't want to be alone. That's not cool. So just make your decisions based on the person themselves and not with a new person. But yeah, I think these cards now, can I say, first of all, this is a general reading. So it may not, you may be going, what is she talking about? You may have no idea what I'm talking about. And that makes sense, because how many Aquarians are going to be watching this? How many Aquarians are there on this planet? So hopefully you can get at least one card that resonates with your situation and can provide some sort of synchronicity for you to give you a message of what to do. If you'd like a private reading, and in my love readings, I draw upon your natal chart, okay, which is, you know, that's totally you. Along with, I do a spread as well, but I do focus on astrology because I feel like that is more precise in a lot of ways. Please click on the link below. Otherwise, I was going to say an awesome August, which I want you to have, but I would say a healing August, an insightful August, an intuitive August, okay? Take care. Bye.